When you understand logic itself, or the sense of logic itself enough, that you start having intuition or insight based on logic, of logic, purely logical, then you can say that you have transcended logic. Not going to any specific field, because this all can be applied to a specific field also, because meditation is just about focus, but with respect to at least yourself and thought, that you have done it well enough. If you are drawing parallels of this FDE and then drawing the parallel of FDE with the inner emotional voice, then you will find the link that where you are in all of these stages and in these levels. And again, if you want to go to the mysticism side, then you can obviously relate it to chakra and all. If you want, you can draw parallels of this thing a lot. You'll have to do that work by your own, because while doing those work, then also you'll be gaining some kind of knowledge and understanding that would be useful to you in your own specific ways. Because as I said, since logic and language is losing its control after some points now, so there is nothing even left for me or anyone to communicate these things to you properly, given that human language is limited. Okay, hi there guys. I know after so long I'm continuing this series of meditation. One of the reasons why I was not recording from long is because I did not feel the importance of it, and because I did not had enough language. As I already said in the last point of the last video, talking about the last stage, that from this point that the language starts fading away. So I guess I should first summarize before starting this next stage. I guess you are already have done all the prerequisites of stage 1 and stage 2, that is being able to at least sit properly and be able to control your focus, the fundamental thing, and being able to handle and work with your thoughts, that is thought optimization and quantization. The last point of the last stage that I was talking about, understanding nothing without logic. In that segment, as I said, I did not have any language, and also this is kind of the link between the last stage and this stage. So let me talk briefly about it now. So understanding nothing without logic basically means gaining the understanding of nothing, and by nothing I mean the point where logical reasoning and logical things that make logical sense does not work properly enough. So when I say making understanding of it, then I basically mean getting an intuitive understanding of it, or gaining insight. If you refer my DSW that is on your screen right now, then the second part of the diagram or drawing or whatever you want to call it, the first is intelligence. Whatever you have done till now is all up to the first segment, being good at the first segment of the DSW till perception. Now when you gain intuitive insight, I call this understanding nothing, because there is actually nothing with respect to logic to understand, but there is a lot that is not logical to understand and to work upon. So basically, when you understand logic itself, or the sense of logic itself enough, that you start having intuition or insight based on logic, of logic, purely logical, then you can say that you have transcended logic. Like, how do you know that you have transcended a topic? How do you know that you have understood a topic properly with a profound understanding of the topic? If you start having intuition and insights of it. So with respect to all above, like quantization, optimization, and controlling focus, if you start having intuition, insights of those things, of your thought itself, not thought of something, but of thought itself, when you start having intuition and insight of the thought itself, then like that's a signal that you have like done good enough amount of understanding of your thought, or this of any segment. To work with someone, you cannot be that thing, no? Like if you want to work with logic, you'll have to get away from logic a bit to work on logic. You cannot be in a thing and then work on a thing. You'll have to get out of the box to close the box. I guess that is how I want to put it. So yeah, that is all done now. That is, you have done good enough now, and you have also started gaining the sense, let's say, or a sense of the above things. And when I say above things, then be very careful. I don't mean thought of any specific kind. I mean thought itself. It's a very intricate thing to see and understand, very chiral thing. People might get confused with thought of thought, or thought of something that appears to be thought, but it's a very fine line that you need to see and understand properly, that you have to work with thought itself, not thought of anything. Even thought of self is not thought. So now coming to the third stage of which this video is about, pure thought void. Again, as I said, when now you have gained enough insight and intuition that you don't even need to go above that to properly work, is pure thought void. That thought is gone. When you, as I have talked about other also, like what is the point of doing this focusing? When you focus on your legs, then your legs are gone after a point. They are gone. So this is what I mean, pure thought void. Thought is gone. Like it's a void now, pure thought void, because you have done enough things with thought. Like this is also, like, can say a very paradoxical, ironic thing about reality, but that's how reality works, in paradoxes and irony. So when you are done with a thing, then that thing is gone. With respect to anything, like sciences, physics, like anything, You can say simply with respect to like riding a bicycle, those who know, you when you have learned it properly enough, you've got proper understanding how to brake and all, then it's all done. Now you don't need to think about it. I know the concept of muscles memory and all, so this is what I basically mean. You need to get muscles memory, like the essence thing, relation thing is basically muscles memory of a brain. There is no muscle in brain, but whatever. So this is what I mean by pure thought void, that you don't think about riding a bicycle, but you're riding the bicycle by your own. Like you have gained that much, that your thought is also gone because you thought about thought itself enough. I know there's a real kind of thing, but
If I think all the time, and by that I mean specifically talking to yourself subvocally inside your skull, if I think all the time, I have nothing to think about except thoughts. And so I'm never in touch with the real world.
the word pure here indicates that the above two stages are done so well enough that they are properly complete. Now it's not like you are still dealing with understanding nothing without logic or contegation. You have done them so well with respect to at least self and the concept of meditation and introspection, all this stuff. Not going to any specific field, because this all can be applied to a specific field also, because meditation is just about focus. But with respect to at least yourself and thought, that you have done it well enough that it is pure. Pure basically means that you don't have any hesitation, you don't have any problem in doing all this or reaching this stage. You can just quickly do it in a snap. So now the second part of this is essence of nullified void. Doing the same thing what we have been doing from long, gaining a thing and then letting it go. Or there was quotation of Nietzsche and all, I'll put it on the screen, but we are basically doing that. Whatever you have done till now, that is pure thought void. Now feeling the essence of it, and by essence of it is, I mean again you are coming to the second part, like what you have got till now, that you are thinking the second part, now shifted to above part and then coming to the second part again, gaining essence of essence, you can say in some sense, or realization of realization. In other words, this point 3 of stage 2 and point 1 of stage 3 can be said as gaining essence of things, or essence of what you have done till now. So now you have to gain that essence of essence only, so essence of nullified void. In all of the third part, again language, feeling, logic gone. So what is the one that we work on? So the humanistic quality of being emotion comes into play here, but emotion also you'll have to be very careful, as I've written in some of my projects, that is IEV, inner emotional voice, and illusionary marked emotions, IME, I guess. So there are basically two types of emotion here to work upon. Illusory marked emotions are the thing that we already dealt with in stage 1 ending and stage 2 starting, so you're not going to go there. Here what we are dealing with is inner emotional voice. Inner emotional voice will properly work and function, because if you are drawing parallels of this FDE and then drawing the parallel of FDE with the inner emotional voice, then you will find the link that where you are in all of these stages and in these levels. And again, if you want to go to the mysticism side, then you can obviously relate it to chakra and all. Given that you are already on this stage with respect to FD and all, then you already know how to handle and work with IEV, like that. This is all prerequisite, as I am saying, it is pure now. You have done all that. After this, there would also be going to connect in the fourth part. So this part is obviously not explainable in this part only. It will only be explainable after the last part of the last stage. And the sense of nullified word can also be seen and understood through some mysticism. You know, the way that other people put is transcending above yourself, Atma Bodh, getting above yourself, like again pure thought void, or Atma Gyan, that is having the realization of that thing. If you want to draw parallels again, so the last point was like Atma Gyan, this is like Atma Bodh. So if you want, you can draw parallels of this thing a lot. You'll have to do that work by your own, because while doing those work, then also you'll be gaining some kind of knowledge and understanding that would be useful to you in your own specific ways. Because as I said, since logic and language is losing its control after some points now, so there is nothing even left for me or anyone to communicate these things to you properly, given that human language is limited. So after a certain point, or after this point, you'll have to understand and do things on your own. Like there is some kind of experimentation. No one can actually tell you anything. They can only again give you guidelines, as I've been trying to do from long. So yeah, after doing all this, you'll be properly done with stage 3 also, like Atma Gyan, Atma Bodh, basically enlightenment, I guess that's what we will call. But again, after that also the last stage is remaining, that just has one point, quantum existence of all. And that is basically some form of pure form of compassion, but I'll talk about in the next video. Till stage 2, till the end of stage 2, it was all enough required for the physical world of humanistic forms and how you are required to work in them, with respect to being able to control your mind or focus, or doing all these things for your mental peace, for being able to good at your work, at your studies, whatever. And this stage, that stage 3 is already good enough for your other spiritual things and all. So you are done with it. You are not required to do anything more after this point. So this is already enough for that. So now with respect to stage 4, that would be like enlightenment or some other higher form of like enlightenment, and encapsulating all of it in the enlightenment form, because quantum existence of all basically kind of refers to that fact of Har Har Mahadev, or everyone is God, everyone has God, compassion in some form, or not just understanding it with respect to logic, but again quantum existence and all, like knowing it with respect to I am existing continuously in a various different forms, superpositioning kind of thing. So next stage, I don't know when I'll make that video, probably after an year again, because I'm making this after a year, but I hope this much is clear. And if you are doing this much, if you have reached this much, then I think the next part you'll automatically understand and find by your own, because there's nothing much left. This point or the segment of decreasing the points from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 was not to make a cool point thing. It was because it starts getting that narrow. Starting there are 4 options, like triangle, you can say 4 3 2 1. It starts getting narrow, so in the end you don't have a lot of space to wander around. You just have one thing to do, that is quantum existence. It becomes so easier after this point to go to stage 4. If you have to define some kind of hardness of all of these meditation stages and points, then you can think of it like some inverse Gaussian curve, like in an inverse bell shape, like stage 1 is easier than 2, 2 and 3 are difficult, and 4 is easier than 3. It's like stage 1 and 4 are easier, 2 and 3 are difficult, and the link between 2 and 3 is the hardest. So inverse bell curve in some way.
I thought about that example within 3 minutes, so I just chose a completely wrong tangent to express it, and that is why I had to talk about inverse of bell curve, when the correct and the actual bell curve can also represent the topic. So instead of just thinking about the easiness of the problem, think about the hardness of the problem, or hardness of the meditation. So the hardness basically increases in the middle and it decreases in the end. So the first stage is easier and the last stage is easier, but the middle 2 stages are harder, and the link between 2 of them, that is the maximum of the bell curve, that is the hardest.
So yeah, let's talk about the next point in the next video. That's all for now. Have a good day. Enjoy. I hope you're doing good with respect to meditation. So given that you have already came to this stage, then you would also be क्या बोलना था हमको यहाँ पे essence of nullified void हाँ